Hi there. Come and join me for another amazing story. We've had a couple of stories recently about things that were lost. There was a lost coin and a lost sheep. But when the owners found the things that were lost, they were so happy. And the stories have reminded us about how much God loves us. He doesn't want to be far away and separated from us. He wants to be close to us for us to know Him. But is it possible to get so far away from God that it's just too difficult to get to Him, to be known by Him and to be found? Well, maybe today the story will help us to answer that question. I have here a gold box. Gold is very special. And what's inside this box must be special. Maybe it's another parable. Parables are special because they're the stories that Jesus told to help us to understand what His kingdom is like. But sometimes parables can be difficult to understand. I wonder if what's inside this box will help us to understand a parable. Let's have a look. We have a huge green piece of material. And this, I wonder what this could be. Maybe it's a path. And we've got 4 black squares and a piece of grey fabric. There's one more thing inside this box that I think we need to help us to tell this story. It's a picture of a house. I think we're ready. There once was a man who had 2 sons who he loved very much. But one day the younger son came to the man and he said, "Dad, you know the way when you die, everything you have will be divided between me and my brother. Well, Dad, I don't want to wait until you die. I want my part now." Well, the father must have been so sad, but he counted what he had and he gave his son the part that would belong to him. The son was excited. He was going to leave home, and as he took his journey, he was having a great time. No more rules, no more jobs to do, no more being told what to do. He was having the best time. He came to a faraway country. And he still had lots of money to buy whatever he wanted. He could have all the food and drink and parties. It was the best time. And of course, it wasn't long before the younger son had lots of friends. He kept spending his money. He kept having a good time. And he didn't even realize that bit by bit, his money was disappearing until something terrible happened. One day, his money was all gone. And then something else terrible happened. His friends left him. And then there was a famine in the land. There was no food. And all of a sudden, the younger son was very far away from home, with no money and no food. He was going to have to find work. And he did find work outside the city. there was a man who gave him a job looking after his pigs. It was a dirty, horrible job, but it was all that he could find. He was so hungry that he would have eaten even the food that the pigs were eating. And as he sat with the pigs, he thought back to home and to his father who loved him. And he thought about the servants at home who had everything they needed to eat and wear, and they were well looked after. And he felt sorry. And he thought, I'm going to go back to my dad. And I'm going to tell him I'm sorry. I'm no longer good enough to be called your son. Make me one of your servants. He practiced. And the day came, and he made his way back home, much more slowly than before. But as he was walking up the road, his father, who was watching from the home, saw him, and he ran to him. And the son began to say, Father, I have sinned against God and you. I'm no longer worthy. I'm not good enough to be your son. And the father wouldn't let him finish. He ran to him and he hugged him and he called his servants and he said, bring the best robe and put it on him. Bring sandals and put them on his feet. Bring a ring and put it on his finger, for my son was dead, but now he is alive. He was lost, but now he's found. Let's have a party to celebrate. I have some questions about this story for us to think about together. Maybe you could talk about these with somebody at home. I wonder which character in this story reminds us of God. I wonder why the son left home. I wonder why the father gave him the money and let him leave. I wonder why he felt sorry. I wonder why the father was waiting. I wonder how the son felt when the father ran to him and embraced him and welcomed him back. I wonder if you know how much God loves you. I wonder if you have been found by God. See you again next week.